Hey, I'm Cece. I'm getting drunk and dating people who are mean to me. So that's gonna be a fun adventure. Let's do it. Alright, Markiplier, let's get fucking married. I hope his dog's here. This doesn't seem like the kind of house that would have a dog, though. Sometimes I can hear him in the morning. His fingers gracing the piano keys, waking me up early in the morning. Not that I minded. We went to sleep early and my husband played music early. I leaned my back against the hallway wall that separated the kitchen and the living room. I could hear the haunting music float to my ears, then I let out a soft sigh. You don't have to hide, you know. There are skeletons. That's a skeleton. And not only is that a skeleton, but that is a skeleton in at least 3 different pieces. All right, Jack-a-plier. Oh, he looks nothing like Markiplier. I've been lied to. Shenanigans. Why do y'all always insist on pulling a fast one on me? I heard his soft voice over the music. I know I don't. I could hear the music stop as I moved towards the dining room table with plates in hand. I wanted to make him a surprise breakfast, but he always seemed to know where I was in the house. Probably a tracking device. Jack moved behind me and put his hands on my hips, feeling my shape. Did I wake you? Yes, bitch, like you do every morning. Jack's lips caressed my neck as he planted a kiss on my skin. I shook my head and leaned into his arms. He rubbed his hand down my stomach and rubbed his chin against my shoulder. It was mornings like this that reminded me of how good of a man he was to me. He squeezed my torso and I sighed. Don't set me up like this. Don't set me up with bullshit like this. Don't try to pretend as if this is all great and wonderful. You might have got it in there with the first guy. What was his name? The blonde guy with the blue eyes, and he was nice and he got stabbed by Marcus. I feel really bad now because I don't know his name. Literally cannot remember his name. But I know you're not him. You're not him. Look at you. You're too... It's the hair. It's the hair. He has too much main character hair going on right now. Don't pretend. My slightly sullen tone of my voice alerted him. He pulled away from my neck and looked me in the eye. What's wrong? That was the problem with marrying someone like him, I suppose. There was no hiding feelings from a psychologist. So maybe we've been brainwashed. And that's what it is. We're just like, we're in a beautiful, wonderful cult. Marriage. And the cult leader, my husband, is so great to me and his 27 other wives and our 97 children that we've all had together on our compound. Then again, maybe he was just very empathetic. I shook my head. I'm just having one of those mornings. You know how it is. There's nothing wrong off the top of my head. I swatted him towards the chair. Jack tilted his head to the side like he was trying to read the look on my face, but I puffed up my cheeks. Sometimes, if I made a face, he couldn't tell what I was thinking. Can you imagine just being super sad and just being like, I don't know, I'm just really having an off day today. What's wrong? And then just going on with your day as if that was a really normal response. And then he calls me a brat. Get fucked. Jack put his hand on my face, squishing my cheeks, letting all the air out. I flailed a bit as he went to sit down. Maybe I was a brat to him. He was a bit older than me. But that's why I fell for those charms. What are you doing today? Jack's eyes fell on the morning newspaper he'd brought in. Who even gets a newspaper anymore? Honestly, is this man like a fucking vampire. I feel like we haven't had like an actual vampire yet. We've had a werewolf and a snake monster and a fallen angel / demon, and we had Strayed, and he was just in a realm of his fucking own. Oh, and a fox. I don't remember what he called himself. A foxling, a fox-ish. He was a fox-ish. I feel like vampire isn't that much of a stretch, honestly. I should finish more of my novel. I should get back on it, you know? I don't want to loaf around the house forever. I do. Good idea. It's not good to get stuck in your own head for too long. Do you have a seminar today? He moved his fingers under his glasses and rubbed the bridge of his nose. Sorry, bro, was one question. I knew he hated meetings, and a seminar where he had to speak in front of people wasn't high on his priority list. He would rather be teaching. I removed myself from my breakfast and moved behind him. I put my hands on his shoulders this time and rubbed his shoulders. He was tense, but he leaned back into my touch. Can I just stay home? You're a grown man. You can do whatever the fuck you want. It's not like you to play hooky. I teased, and he lifted up my hand and kissed it. Maybe. Jack looked at his food and started to eat as I took a seat across from him. I have something for you. Ooh. What is it? Domestic violence? I perked my head and leaned it to the side. Really? He made a soft chuckling sound into his coffee. Did you forget our anniversary? They're subverting the plot again. I'm the monster in this run. Again. Ooh, I can be suave. The reservations are at 6. Dummy. Let's be pretentious. Let's be a pretentious little bitch. Yeah, I already made the reservations. They're at 6. Oh. He clapped a bit and grinned. You're faster than me. It's not typically the case when the wife is faster than... Jack got up from his chair and went to the closet. He pulled out a box for me. It wasn't wrapped. He was never interested in making gifts more frivolous than they needed to be. But then what's the point of that? That's like part of the fun. It's just making gifts super ridiculous and unreasonable and just be like, look, I put your box in a box, and then I put that box in a box, and then I put that box in a box, and then I mailed that box to myself, and when it arrives, you smash it with a hammer. That's part of the magic of giving someone a gift. I looked at the box. This was the laptop I wanted. I felt my heart skip a beat as I held the box close to my chest. He always remembered what I told him, down to things I only mentioned in passing. I pulled it to my chest and looked up at him. Thank you. I love it. I held out my hands. He leaned down and hugged me tight. Are we sitting? Are we sitting and we just have the laptop like... Again, why do I keep trying to make sense of things in general? Happy anniversary. Aw, gross. Jack spoke softly into my ear. I better head out now. I grabbed his wrist and gripped it tightly. Do you have to go? He placed a heavy hand on my head and gently caressed my hair, feeling the fine threads through his fingers. As much as I'd like to stay, I can't. I have to go to the seminar. His soft breath caressed my hair as I hugged him tightly. Don't worry, I'll be back soon. You just take a day to set up your computer for writing and relax. Jack pulled back, my arms feeling immediately empty in his absence. Okay, I agreed with him as he went to the front door. And then you could just download Sims onto it and then just play Sims all day. Because that's what you do when you're writing something and you don't want to. And then you find any excuse to not write. And then the next thing you know, you've been writing the same thing for like 5 years. And it never gets done. And then you just play The Sims and try not to think about it. Jack looked at his car and back to me. I quickly trotted over and kissed him on the lips. Have a good day. I will. I want to read what you have going on too. Jack moved towards his car. I could feel my face reddening. I'm not done, I yelled. I could hear him chuckle under his breath even from the driveway. I watched the gray car move out of the driveway and down the street. I watched him drive away with bated breath and gripped my arm. How could I think he was cheating on me? Lately, I had been noticing he was coming home later and didn't give me as much affection as he used to. But this morning was so different and so familiar at the same time. It felt like the old times where he was just there for me. I looked at the laptop he had given me and sat down at the dining room table with it. I poked the box and opened it up to take a peek inside. It really was the laptop I wanted. What did you think was going to be in it, bricks? But did I really want to stay home and tinker with it all day? He said he was going to a seminar today. You just got the laptop. You just got it, and you're already just like, oh, I don't want to mess with this, though. I want to go bother my husband at his work seminar. Honestly, though, that does sound like something I would do. I wasn't sure how much of that I believed. I had my own car. I knew where he was going. One of the ritzy hotels in the city. I could just follow him. He's probably going over there to meet fucking Kane. Thank you, self. You're welcome, self. He's probably going down there to meet Kane. That's because this whole thing is just one fucking, you know, it's too much. Stop knowing everybody in the series. Stop with the seriesing. Just let's follow this bitch. Well, okay, hang on. So following him would be the crazy bitch option. Staying home would be the normal thing to do. I guess let's just get the boring ending out of the way, right? Alright, let's just stay home, dick with our laptop. He comes home, we're like, what's up, Jack? And he's like, sup, bitch? And then he goes to bed, and we don't find out that he's secretly a sadist and goes to one of those fancy clubs for people where you do shit like that. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about. And she's gonna follow him there. It's gonna be like, I don't know if you've seen the music video yet, but that song there he's like, Mama don't know Daddy's getting hot. Like, you have seen that yet? And it's like they're just dancing around everywhere, and they've got the poles and stuff, and everybody's in like bondage gear. You know that's where he went. That's where he's going. To torture people. For money. Probably the same place, probably a place that's run by Ren. Because Ren's a fucking weasel. And I hate him. And his dumb little face. I'm gonna stay home. I talked to myself out of following him because I don't want that smoke. I decided to stay home. There was no point in following him around. I didn't want to look like I didn't trust him. I wanted to believe my husband was a good person. I opened up my computer and started to type on it. The words spilling onto the screen. I watched my words fill up page after page. Sometimes I forgot to eat, but that wasn't unusual for me. I just get so caught up in my work. I felt heavy hands on my shoulder that made me shoot out of my chair. Ah! I screamed as I bounced out of my chair. I could feel my side hitting the floor as I looked up at my husband. Jack arched his eyebrow. Did you even move from this morning? Jack put his hand out for me. I put my hand in his and he helped me up from the floor. I looked at the time and it was 5 p.m. I rubbed my hands on my face and smiled behind them. Define move. Me. I mean eating and walking around the house. I don't do those things. I rubbed my chin in pseudo-thought and put my hands on my hips. I shook my head and grinned at him. No. You're going to give me colitis. I can't give you that. I can just make it worse by stressing you out. Duh. All right, smartass. Jack grabbed me around the waist and slammed me on the couch. I was always curious about how a man his age could be so fit, especially if I never see him work out. It's 'cause he tortures people in his spare time. But I pushed the thought from my mind as he leaned over me. Are you ready for dinner, Jack? I straightened out his shirt and he ran his hand through his hair. I'm gonna take a shower first. He removed himself from me. Obviously, I'm going with you. It's our anniversary. What? I want to take a shower with you. I felt my face heat up. I'm not sure why I was getting embarrassed. He was my husband, after all. All right. Let's go take a shower. What a weird response to that. Like, your wife is like, let's go take a shower together. It's our anniversary. And you're just like, cool. Let's go. After you, then. I followed him up the stairs, my heart pounding in my chest. I wasn't sure that was going to work. But now that it was happening, I couldn't help but feel excited about the prospect. Why wouldn't it have worked? That's your husband. I could hear the shower running as I peeked in on Jack removing his clothes. Uh-oh. I have a feeling you're not going to be allowed to see this next screen. I was right. I felt my face reddening even more. Why was I like this? This wasn't the first time I had sex with Jack, but it felt like a whole new experience. I hadn't had sex with him in so long. I shuffled out of my clothes and dropped them on the floor. Jack stepped into the shower and I followed him in after. I wrapped my arms around his back and touched the water. It was freezing cold. Ah, cold! I squeaked as he pulled me underneath the stream. I could feel myself shaking from the cold water over my skin. I like it cold. What fucking psychopath showers in cold water? Especially showering in cold water when this is the event that's going to take place. That's not normal. Red flag. Red fucking flag. He pushed his lips against mine. His kiss was roughed as he pushed me into the shower tile. Is it okay? No, it's not okay. Nobody does this in cold water, okay? No. I nodded quickly. I didn't want to fight him on this one. Yeah, who wants a comfortable body temperature? We're just doing nasty shit in the shower, so let's just skip to the weird part. Does Jack have sex with dead people? I'm sorry, there's not really any other way for me to word that. Is he fucking dead people? Just from the exchange that just happened in this scene, the really cold water, he doesn't want her to talk or say anything or make any kind of noise. And then she actually said something and he's just like, oh, she spoke. We stayed in for dinner, but he seemed distant, but thoughtful. He was always thinking. I wasn't sure what was on his mind at any time, but I did enjoy his company. It was getting late, and I went to bed with him. I could feel his arms around me as I slept. What was that noise? I rolled over in bed and rubbed my face. Gentle banging. The trees tapping on the window? No, it was huskier than that. how can like a rapping noise have a husk sound? Like a husky or like a... Something from inside the house. I opened my eyes and felt lonely. I put my hand down on the side of the bed where Jack would have been. Jack? I spoke gently into the darkness. No response. I looked around. There was nothing but the sound of that thumping. I stood up from my bed, just a little after 1. I could see a light on as I trotted down the stairs and looked at the bookcase. Oh, there's a door behind the bookcase. It was moved and there was a door behind it. Oh, what kind of fuckery is this? I wasn't sure how I'd never seen it before, but I put my hand on the doorknob. This was wrong. Something felt off. Yeah, like having an entire secret room in your house that you didn't know existed. It's a little off. I opened the door and the banging got louder. My breath started to come quickly as I took in one sharp breath. The putrid smell invaded my thoughts as I stepped onto the bottom step. It's a dead person. He's fucking a dead person. I don't think I have enough left to be able to finish this to the end. Jesus fuck. Oh my God. It was wet. I let out a gasp as I saw a young woman's face over Jack's shoulder. Was he having sex with someone else? I took a step back and slipped on the wet floor. Jack, are you... I screamed, but I stopped to look as he turned around. The woman wasn't moving. I was right. It wasn't enough. Her unblinking, lifeless eyes fixed on me. Her blood spilling out from the gaping hole in her chest. How long was she dead? Cheating on you? Jack's voice snapping me from my thoughts. He looked at the woman and put his hand on her face. He watched his hand caress her skin. Jack's eyes burning with a passionate ache. I would say not. Perhaps that's just me. These toys have no life left to give. So is it cheating if it's with a toy? I kept a terrified eye on him. I wasn't sure what I could do. I could run. I wanted to run, but my legs wouldn't allow me. Jack leaned down and pushed something into my neck. A needle. Sleep now, my love. I felt myself leaning against the wall and sliding down it. Darkness. That black, swirling vortex. I would have rather stayed in my unconscious state than woken up in my own basement. The corpses of the dead littering the room in a ceremonious way that made my stomach churn. How long were these down here? I felt my breath hitch up, but I couldn't move. Nothing on my body would move, except my eyes and eyelids. My eyes quickly darted to my arms and legs. They remained unrestrained, and I looked back at Jack. At least we hadn't been turned into a doll, like with Sano, or just had our fucking arms and legs cut off, like with Lawrence. My husband sitting across the room, something metal in his hands. He'd been watching me the whole time. That usually comforting, quiet demeanor turned into a distressing silence. Why was he just watching me? You can't move, can you? He stood up and tapped the syringe. This was more effective than I thought. He moved to the desk and looked at the vial. You should be able to talk soon. Not that I need you to. Is this where they got that fucking... What secret potion is this that keeps rendering us prone but conscious? Jack moved across the room and looked at me. I never thought you would be the one on my floor. Like this. He picked up my hand and rubbed his thumb across the top of my skin. He kissed my numb limb. I didn't feel anything but the gnawing disgust in my stomach. You were different, you know? Special. He reached over to a severed hand and looked at it. He pushed it against his face, and I watched in horror as he ran it down his skin, letting out an excited sigh. Okay. Ugh, maybe I can do this now. You weren't like the others, Cece. No, I liked to watch sports and drink beers. I didn't wear makeup. I wore jeans instead of skirts. And now look where I am. Lesson learned. Do whatever the fuck you want. Dress however the fuck you want. Like whatever the fuck you want. Because either way, whether you're like the other girls or not, you're gonna end up paralyzed on some sick fuck's floor to go through whatever the fuck it is we're about to go through. He put the hand down on my leg, and I just wanted to shake it off. I didn't want it on me. Yet he left it right there. He leaned in and rubbed my face with his hands. I wanted to keep you. But then I had to be pesky and wake up in the middle of the night and walk around my own house. Fucking deserve everything that's coming to me, don't I? Your body, your mind, everything needed to stay intact. My toys never stay long. He clenched my face and growled angrily. I'd never seen this side of him before. The rot always takes them. But there are more, many more. Jack removed the severed hand from my leg. Where have I seen that girl? The blonde girl with the glasses. Have I seen her? Am I crazy? No, I guess we haven't yet. I could have sworn I've seen him before, though. Or seen this girl before. His name? John. Oh, that's why. His name's John. John Green? Like the John Green? You got fucking stabbed to death? By this little shit? Jack removed the severed hand from my leg. He tossed it back into the pile and looked at the ceiling. What will I do with you, my love? I could feel my mouth regaining its movement. What is my life? Oh my god. You know what? Fuck it. Stab me, daddy. Jack stopped in his tracks. I was just kidding, trying to make light of the situation, and he looked me in the eye. Do you think it makes you sound intelligent to repeat something you saw on the internet? Depends on what it is that's on the internet that I'm repeating. Duh. No, that's not it. You just don't want to be singled out. You want to follow the crowd. Get a laugh with your friends. I have friends? Yes. Are these people truly your friends? Can you confide things to them without adding a joke at the end? Or does your life hold such little significance that you validate your existence through 10-second trends? He shook his head and grabbed the hand he put on my leg. Perhaps you weren't special. We've been married for how long? One singular phrase, one line. And he's just like, actually, I thought I knew you, but I didn't. Of the two of us, your secret revelation was way worse than my secret revelation of kidnapping women, torturing them, doing some unspeakable shit with their corpses, cutting them up, and then putting them in what I can only assume is a furnace. But saying "stab me, daddy," that's stupid. Divorce. He shoved the stump into my mouth. The rotten flesh caking the insides of my mouth. Why do y'all hate me? If you have nothing good to say, don't say anything. He tossed the hand aside. Jack moved away from me and went back to his desk. He rolled something under his finger, the glinting gold showing me that it was his wedding ring. Perhaps this was bound to happen. You've been perceptive in the past. He picked up the knife from the table and looked at it. Fate. No. He walked over to me, the knife in his hand, and looked at me. There's no such thing as fate. He looked at my legs. He ran his hand on my skin and bit his bottom lip. You're so beautiful. Thanks. I wasn't sure who he was talking to, me or my flesh, but he looked at the tip of his knife and sunk it deep in my flesh. I let out a scream and Jack put his finger to his lips. Quiet now. Ah! I let out a scream, ignoring what he said to me. Go fuck yourself, Jack. He didn't seem fazed by it. Jack just pulled the knife out of my skin and put it down next to him. I bit my bottom lip, trying to ignore the searing pain in my leg as he stopped cutting me. He put the knife down next to him. Here, he put the knife down. He put it down, and then put it down. The continuity errors in this game, I swear. Let's just hang out. We're just gonna hang out and play a game about a man that likes to kidnap and torture and murder and then fuck dead bodies of women. We're just in for an easy breezy casual time. It's fine. He pressed his lips against the wound and licked the blood away from it. Still warm. I would imagine it would be. He pulled away, looking at the blood gushing out of my leg, just watching it flow out of me. Please, stop this, I begged as he looked up at me. He shook his head and rubbed his fingers on my blood. He smeared it across my leg and leaned into me. I can't. Who knows how long I've been doing this now? Decades. Jack ran his hand through my blood, rubbing up my thigh and between my legs. He closed his eyes and shuddered. My legs remained unmoving. I wonder. I better stop the bleeding. Jack muttered to himself as he moved across the room. He looked at some of the cloth he had and tilted his head to the side. I'm not used to this, you know. I don't take care of the dead, as you should be right now. Jack lifted my leg and ran his open palm against my skin. He looked at me as he wrapped my wound up, tightening it as much as he could to stop the flow of blood. He watched me for a moment with that vacant look on his face. He was deep in thought. I could remember that look, but I was feeling rather faint. I leaned my head back and my head hit something soft behind me. I couldn't think about what it was, just that I needed to rest for a moment. It was cold. There was a searing pain to this freezing cold that I couldn't shake. Was I in water? Maybe I had died before I woke up. Was this what death felt like? Floating in water? I just needed to open my eyes. I wanted to know what was happening. Are we in the river? We're probably floating in the river. I shifted, or tried to. I was still numb. I just wanted to open my eyes. I could hear a soft thumping to my side. Open. I commanded my body as I shifted my eyes and my skull. My eyes slowly started to open. I felt a sigh of relief. then a cold, sinking feeling. I wasn't dead. My body was submerged in ice-cold water. My limbs were almost blue. I shifted my eyes over to the side of me. Jack must have been in here still. I could feel my eyes widening as I watched him rocking against a torso without a head. Oh, no, 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 no. I can't. Why? Oh my god. Well, oh my god, is that body parts with maggots on it? I'm gonna look away. I don't want to watch that. I quickly looked away. I looked at anything else. Then I realized that there was nothing better to look at. I closed my eyes, listening to the thumping. Was this what he was doing instead of having sex with me? He was more interested in fucking corpses than being with his own wife? I bit down on my lip angrily. The thumping stopped, and I looked over. You're awake. Jack looked at me in the ice bath. He reached into the water and felt my limbs. He licked his lips as he moved his hand across my skin. I think this is a better feel for you. He moved his hands between my legs. Oh, but God, he's all pretentious too. Like, oh, you just follow these 10-second trends and like you have all these fake friends because you like pop culture references. How contrite. Like, wow, you're not worthy of my time. But like, bro, you fuck dead people. Like you fuck dead people. You fuck dead people. Like, if we're really gonna get into the nitty-gritty of that, like if we're really gonna just like dig into that and the thought of who's better than who here, you fuck dead people. He dragged me out of the metal basin I was sitting in and dropped me on the floor. My body sprawled out every which way as he flipped me over. Easier to move, just like the fresh ones. Fuck, he muttered to himself. I'm suing. I don't even think this is enough. This is not this. Oh god. Oh god. I just want to die already so that I don't have to play this anymore. I don't want to look at this bitch. I don't want to look at him. He's disgusting and insane. Can we not? I don't want to make either of these choices. Oh, which one do I think will hurry me to a death faster? I heard by somebody on the internet, so you know that I'm very smart when I regurgitate facts from the internet, you look somebody in the eyeball as they're trying to do violence to you, it humanizes you a little bit. And I don't want to do that. I tried to whimper as best I could. Jack looked at me and shook his head. Really? That's what bothers you out of this whole situation? He picked me up and dropped me into a pile of festering bodies. I don't care how good of an insulation you have got in this basement. There is no way in fuck that you did not smell a single one of these bodies. There's enough to have a pile of them just rotting in a corner. There is absolutely no goddamn way you had no idea that was going on. No way. There's no way. The smell alone was enough to make me vomit. The warm bile creeped up my throat and into my mouth. I could taste it before I felt it dribbling out of my mouth and onto my chest. What? Is it that bad, darling? No. No, 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 no. God damn it. No! Oh God. Oh no. What am I gonna do with you? Just kill me. 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 No. Zip ties, tied my arms and legs together, and sat down. I fell asleep, I guess. He started looking at shit. And he is touching the people. How can I preserve you? No. Who's Ellen? Who's Ellen? How can I make sure my beloved doesn't rot? How about don't kill me? How about you just don't do any of this? How about you just put me upstairs and put yourself down here and lock the door and never come out again? Things were easier when I cared less. You care? You care. You're going to tell me that any part of you cares. That was the most horrific thing I have had to read with my own two eyeballs. Oh, you all can go fuck yourself. What is this? He rubbed his hand on a dead person, pulled out a knife. That I got him, this little shitbag. There's the knife. Started to stab the knife. You're gonna have, okay. I'm gonna need a second because I cannot read this right now. He has a fancy Japanese knife that we bought him. We thought it was lost, but it is not lost. It is down in this basement, being used to cook beautiful gourmet meals like salmon with lemon and nothing else. And that's my headcanon. And that's what we're doing. He pushed it against the fish body's flesh and started to rend the skin from the muscle. As you do, you don't typically eat fish scales. He looked at the skin and rubbed it against his face, leaving a red mark on his cheek. Unconventional, but sometimes, chefs use unconventional ways of testing the freshness of their fish. Soft, which means it's good for consumption. He slammed a book on the table and it made me jump. It was heavy, but I couldn't take my eyes off of it. What was he doing down here all these years? He flipped through the pages and I watched as countless lives and deaths were chronicled in one book. How many people has he killed? How many of them ended up down here, in this festering cesspool of death? He opened the book up to a fresh new page and started to sew the skin into the paper. He's sewing the fish skin into the butcher paper because chef reasons. And that's it. his focus on gently keeping the skin in his book. He looked at it and pressed his fingers against the skin. He kissed it as he closed the book and shut it away again. "Jack, what have you done?" I couldn't help but ask myself as he got up. He didn't notice me awake this time as he walked up the stairs. This wasn't over, and I could finally feel myself gaining my movement back in my limbs. I started to crawl around on the floor trying to find something. Anything that would help me get out of these zip ties. I found nothing. I couldn't even help myself to get the knife on the table that Jack had used. I just had to lay on the floor and hope for the inevitable. Jack would return, and I didn't know what I could do. It's a really great choices. Cry, sleep, or scream. Best run through. Love this character. Love this situation. This makes me feel like there's funny moments, and it doesn't make me want to die inside a little bit. So it's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. And these are some great choices to choose from. What should I do? Should I cry or should I scream? Should I cry or should I scream? I'm gonna cry. I'm just gonna cry. It felt like the world was crushing me. I didn't know what to do anymore. The man I loved wasn't anything like I thought he was. One look around this room told me everything I knew was a lie. What could I do? I started to cry and leaned my head against the floor. I hoped that Jack wouldn't hear my loud sobbing and come looking for me. I didn't want to see him. I didn't want to see anything anymore. I just wanted to crawl into a hole. I cried until I couldn't cry anymore. Eventually, everything was just darkness. I could hear something. Someone gently talking to themselves. A gentle scratching across a table. I opened my eyes and tried to twist my wrists, but they were still zip-tied. Maybe Jack didn't trust me walking around on my own like that. A fun fact that I learned, again on the internet, is if you're zip-tied like this, you gotta just lift your arms up as much as you can, and then shove them down as much as you can, and you keep doing that, and eventually the force will break your wrists apart in the zip ties, and then you can escape. My eyes drifted up to him, and I watched him sit in his chair, his head down, scratching the knife against the table, talking to himself. Talking to a severed head on the table next to him. Her striking blonde hair scattered across the table. I knew who he was talking to. "Ellen, please, we can't talk in front of my wife like this. I didn't do anything. I just like you better this way. You're still as intelligent as ever. It's becoming increasingly harder to focus now. Maybe there's too many people. Should I burn the bodies? Is it my wife? Maybe she's making my head a chaotic flame of noise that I just can't drown out." Jack's eyes quickly shifted to me, and I wanted to close my eyes and pretend I didn't see anything, but I watched him get up. The knife against the table scratching against the desk. The sound reminding me of my mortality. He kneeled down in front of me and rubbed my face, his palm against my cheek. "You're awake." Jack's voice came out conflicted, his usual cold and calculated demeanor shattering around him. "Yeah, I'm awake. I was almost hoping you would have died in your sleep," he says, with a soft look on his face. Jack gently twisted his finger in my hair. He felt the strands inside. It would have been a mercy. Falling asleep, dreaming about death instead of watching me kill you. I could feel my breath quickening, and I tried to squirm away from him, but he grabbed my hair and held his knife to my neck. "Don't leave, darling. We have much more to do." I nodded my head quickly and laid still for him. He gently placed me back on the floor. He looked at the table where he was scratching his knife and ran his fingers across the gouged surface. Why did you have to come down here? He watched his fingers move across the surface. He crossed his arms, and we sat in the quiet. His quiet spells tore at my mind. Fuck you. Why don't you just come finish me off, you creep? I tried to roll around on the ground. You're showing your true colors now, aren't you? He spoke in a low, husky voice as he grabbed my hair. Fine. Yes, I'm showing my true colors by being pissed about this entire situation. Me. I'm the problem. I'm the fucked one. Jack jammed his knife into my neck. Thank fuck. I could feel the knife slicing through my windpipe and into my vocal cord. The blood started to fill up my throat, but I didn't die. What? I choked on blood as his knife missed all my arteries. What? He removed the knife from my neck. He leaned down and kissed my new orifice, blood staining his face. Ew, that's disgusting. That's much better. He licked his lips, blood smearing all over them. I felt the world growing dark around me. Thank God. Silence is golden. Fuck. Yeah, this is gonna be a no from me, dog. So I'll let you know what happens next. You'll be the first to know if I decide to finish this series or retire to Hawaii, where I throw away every piece of technology that I've ever owned and live by myself and never speak to another human being or any person, for that matter, any person at all ever again, because then I will be safe.